Good day. I hope everyone is in their good mood. For our presentation, first of all, I will introduce myself, and each of my team members will also introduce themselves. I am Jemiema Vera Dualio.
I'm Espino Serna.
Hi everyone, my name is Jude Peter.
I am Tequila di Roban.
I'm Ramon Big Tamar.
Hi, my name is Bruce Alexis P. Olmeda. We can't reach Andre Trinidad right now, but he is one of us.
I'm Andre Trinidad from BSMX 1B.
We are the group two reporters, and we are to discuss the two topics that are assigned to us, which are the global media culture and the globalization of religion. But before we officially start the discussion, there are five words that is shown on the screen. We have five participants to explain these words in their own understandings. So let me show you the video of them explaining.
What is the meaning of the globalization? Globalization is a word used to describe a growing interdependence of the world economies, cultures, and population brought about by cross-border trade in the good and service technology and flow of investment, people, and information.
Ang media kay more siya tool or a way na para makapa-spread of information or content. Like example, on social media, Facebook, Instagram, whatsoever, makaspread of information. Or pwede sa like the traditional way like newspapers nga na media sa siya. A way of informing, a way of spreading information. Una siya media.
Culture refers to a large diverse set of tangible aspects of social life. In other words, culture encompasses behaviors, customs, rituals, arts, and institutions that shape how individuals and groups interact within a society. It is a way of life passed down from one generation to the next generation through communication and limitation.
With the word language, the first thing that comes to my mind is that it is a very important ingredient when it comes to forming relationships. That's because we need language in order to express our opinions and to understand what other people are feeling. That way, we can form opinions based on what we got through their language and decide whether they can be trusted and whether it's worth it to form a relationship with them, whether it's romantic or platonic.
For me, communication is an exchange of informations between two parties, which is the sender of the information and the receiver. Communication can be done through verbal, unsigned or sign language, and through online communication, which utilizes the internet and the modern technologies.
Thank you for the five participants. The words that they have just explained are the words that we will gonna be encounter on discussing the topic about the global media culture. Now, I will pass the screen to Bruce Olmedo for further discussion about globalization and media and the evolution of media and globalization. Bruce?
Now, our topic for today is globalization in media, creating the global village. What is globalization? Well, globalization is a vague, opaque, and difficult word indeed. Many people have trouble defining globalization. The word seems to mean many things. It could mean a global economy, an international trade, and much more. International trade and communication, immigration, migration, more foreign firms and foods like McDonald's and other things in Paris or something Starbucks in Africa. Yeah, that could mean globalization. The word can mean everything and nothing. Now, what is media? It could mean conveying of something such as a channel and communication. It is in contrast to globalization. Media does not seem hard to identify or define. The word is plural for medium, a means of conveying something, such as a channel or communication. And a plural form of media only came into general circulation. However, in the 1920s, like globalization, the word media came into popular usage because of a word was needed to talk about a new social issue. Now, evolution of media and globalization. Scholars have found it logical and helpful to organize the historical study of media by time periods or stages. Each period is characterized by its dominant medium. For example, the Canadian theorist Harold Innis, 1950. Well, he divided media into three periods, which is oral, print, and electronic. Now, for James Lull in the 2000s, he divided media into four different stages, which is oral, print, electronic, and digital. And for Terry Grantanen in 2005, she divided media into 7 stages, which is oral, script, print, wired, wireless, electronic, and digital. Well, technically only 5, but 2 sub-stages from electronic, which is wired and wireless.
For the continuation of the report, the screen will be passed to Lance de la Serna to discuss the different time periods.
Different type period. The first one is the oral communication. What is oral communication? Oral communication is the process of verbally transmitting information and ideas from one individual or group to another. Transmitting. Ano naman ito sa transmitting, di ba? Na ipasa-pasa. So, first one is language help human move, but it also help them settle down. Actually, human language, atong language, itong language, makakuan dyan siya. Help yun sa human movement. move. Also language, also atong language maka-identify sa dun sa ato ganahan isulti. So it's make human settle down. The second one is language stored and transmitting important agriculture information across time as one generation passed on its knowledge to the next, leading to the creation of village and town. Language stored and transmission. Language stored and transmission, kasabot na ito ako. Ang language ay stored like ato siya ipasa-pasa or ato siya isuwat sa libro, notebook, something like that para kanang information na magamit sa next generation to create a village and town, its own history. Language, the third one is language also lead to market, the trade good and service and individual into cross-continental trade routes, organized permanent trading center giving rise to cities. Unsaon na to pag-trade of goods and service, if di na to kay bawo, di na to sila ma-acceptan sa non-service nila. Like, na kay Japanese na Korean or other country na meet o na language barrier between you two. So also language man help you man. Osler said 2005 language was their most important tools. Ano makaingon ta important tools ang language? Important tools ang language kay mo na rason na ma-understand nato ang tao, ma-understand nato sa needed niya. So next one is the script is some history of media technology skip this stage or give it brief mention as a transition between oral culture and culture of the printing press. Language was essential but imperfect. Essential means needed but imperfect. So script needed to be written on something. So ang pasabot diri ang language kay essential needed siya para masabtan tong tao but imperfect. Kanitan dayo ang tao yun sa mo po pasa sa imong isulti kung di siya kadungog. So diri na magawas ang script. Script allowed for the written and permanent codification of economic, culture, religion, and political practice. From codification. So dira na mo ko antong letters o mga letters manay rason makabasa ta, di ba? Code gyapon na siya. The next one is printing press. It started the information revolution and transmission market, business, nation, in schools, churches, government, armies, and more. Prior to the printing press, the production of copy and writing document was slow and cumbersome and expensive. So sa unang panahon, ang printing press like newspaper is so very expensive. So panagsaram na. With the advent of printing press, first made with movable wooden blocks in China. Katong wooden blocks like printer sa China, like printer sa ilaha. Kung anong to ink yung kamani patapot. And then with movable metal type by Johannes Gutenberg in Germany. The materials suddenly was cheaply made and easily decorated. Through time, ang katong mga renovation sa printing press evolved. So, may karon na naman tayo mga di na ginita mag-print. Gigura lang kita sa Facebook. So, ato asang naka-evolve. And that
The screen will be passed to Rami and Tamor for further discussion about the different time periods.
Discuss about electronic media. Beginning in the 19th century, a host of new media would revolutionize the ongoing process of globalization. Scholars have come to call this electronic media. Kasi man daw ng electronic media small siya ang katong like karon nga high-tech na bitaw, cellphone, laptop, nagdaghan pa. Then according to Alexander Graham Bell, si Alexander Graham Bell pag 1876 invented this telephone. It quickly became a globally adapted video. Pati pa yung cellphone katong lata-lata ra magro. Lain pag early 1890s, dili pa kayo grabe kakuan high-tech. Then late 1890s, taga naman na matud pag-abot sa 90s, 1920s, 1927 ug hangtod naabot ang 1973. Then pag early 1890s, silent motion pictures were shown but as mass medium film developed in the 1890s. Pag late 1890s na adere na yung mga radio developed alongside the telegraph and telephone. Early 19s, speech indeed was being transmitted without wires. Pag 1920s, broadcast stations were on the air transmitting music and news. Radio quickly became a global medium reaching distant regions without the construction of wire roads. O mao na akong gingon, nagkahinay na og kakuan. 1927, the first transatlantic call was made via radio. The creation of the cell phone in the 1973 was especially crucial in the context of globalization and media. For much of the 20th century, radio was the only mass medium available in many remote village, along with the telegram, telephone, and radio film arose as another potent medium. Naapod ang nag-invent na po yung naka-idea or nag-invent aning television. Television brought together the visual and oral power of film with the accessibility of radio. Si Marshall McLuhan na nakakuha na i-proclaim the world a global village largely because of television. So man ang global village, ang global village kay kanang magka-communicate bitaw tanan. Ya sa kuan na siya sa electronic media mo na siya pasabot television, cellphone, or unsa man. Digital media are most often electronic media that rely on digital codes, the long arcane combination of zeros and ones that represent information. The computer, though, is the usual representation of digital media. It comes of the latest and some would argue most significant medium to influence globalization. Then, global imaginary village, nagkuana na kay si, nag-invent na kay si Manfred Steger. Ana siya, he has called a rising global imaginary, the globe itself, imagined community. Nakapadere, dili pa man kayo grabe ka, high-tech ang mga tao, di pa kayo kayo nga high-tech ang kalibutan. So, lisod pa kayo, bisag nanik sa tanan. And kung wala ning electronic media karon, maglisod ta bisag kaning video, maglisod ta kanang video about sa tuwang kaning report. I will pass the screen to Jude Dinoyo for the further discussion of the effects of media in economic, political, and cultural globalization.
Media and economic globalization. The media have been essential to the growth of economic globalization in our world. The media have made economic and globalization possible by creating the conditions for global capitalism by promoting the conceptual foundation of world market company. Economic globalization from this perspective is not just dollars and cents, but story and myth. Narratives that can make natural from buying and selling of products across borders and boundaries, and mythic celebrations of products and consumption. The media foster the condition for global capitalism. They fill our days with invitations and exhortations for consumption, from ceaseless commercials on radio and television, to film, to product placemented films, to digital billboards, and to pop ads. Another is to the broadsheets in the bathroom status. Media and political globalization. Globalization has transformed world politics in profound ways. When the media is added to the mixture of globalization and politics, governments shape and manipulate the news. Officials are extremely successfully influencing and molding the news so that it can build support for other domestic and foreign policies. Scholars suggested the new media or digital media. So, ang meaning niya kay Kwan, have the potential to invigorate the transformed political life in the modern world. It led to the formation in the overthrow of kingdoms and empires. It led to the creation of nation state. And now some argue that nation state is being weakened as people and borders become ever more fluid and globalized world. Some argue that transitional political actors from NGOs or non-government organizations like Greenpeace to corporations to the United Nations now rise in the prominence in our age of globalization. When we add the media to the atmosphere of globalization and politics, we touch upon some key features for modern life. In an age of political globalization, the opposite hypothesis appears to be true. Governments shall shape and manipulate the news. It is another key feature of media and political globalization. Officials around the world are extremely successful in influencing and molding the news so that it builds support for the domestic and foreign politics. New media have characteristics. So muna yung characteristics niya. Mobile, interactive, discursive, and participatory. New media do indeed complicate politics. New media, new, new media do indeed complicate politics. These new have These new media have characteristics: mobile, interactive, discursive, and participatory, with dramatic political implicators. Because of the law of cost and ease of posting text, photos, videos, music, and other material online, digital media allows for the possibility of multiple, varied voices and views that can challenge and question those in power. Shinky, 2008, citizens worldwide can post photos and dispatches to the breaking news events and cell phones. Computers and worldwide can post and webcams artists around the globe can change the information online and coordinate plans. Bloggers and other online newspapers can find outlets and audiences to challenge the government and authority. I will pass the screen to Jimiema Vieira Dualle.
For the continuation of Jodinoyo's report, media and cultural globalization. So the media are the primary carriers of culture. The analogy of it, the media are more than mechanical conveyors of culture. Maoy machine kunuhay to pass the cultures. Like for example, in the conveyors na ang atong kwan, newspaper, computer, laptop, internet, radio, or other forms. Ang conveyor, dili na siya mo dagan kung walay mo control, di ba? Kita, we humans. The media are people. Mao na siyang analogy sa media, sa cultural globalization or why cultures to other countries. So, according to Jana Dervin Peters, na daw tulo ka book and tulo ra jud daw ang outcomes nga to consider the influence of globalization on cultures. So, unsa man to ang tulo? So, the cultural differentialism, cultural convergence, and cultural hybridity. So, let's first discuss the cultural differentialism. In cultural differentialism, it suggests that cultures are different, strong, and resilient. It also suggests that cultures are destined to clash as globalization continually brings them together. Sa kaning cultural differentialism, ang outcome ani is ominous kay sometimes kay ang mga tao mag-away-away lagi it's because of their difference, no? Sa cultures. Mao na silang ominous na siya kay mag-clash ang mga different kinds of cultures. Mao na siyang cultural differentialism. Well, cultural convergence, dari ang kuan. It suggests that globalization will bring about a growing sameness of cultures. Nya ginatawag sa nisla ang outcome ani nga cultural imperialism. Ano? Kaya, for example, Americans or Westerns, they somehow share their culture like around the world, get like their dance, their music, murag from Western countries, murag na-adapt na to, like mga third world countries, diba? From that first world countries, ilang cultures kay murag na-adapt sa mga third world countries like us, Philippines. Ano silang gitawag ng cultural imperialism? Ilang culture, murag naman nato nakuha na sa murag yapog gi-conquer ta nila through their cultures. And then the third outcome is cultural hybridity. So throughout history, naa na gining hybridity. Like it suggests that globalization will bring about an increasing blending or mixtures of cultures. Like kita mga Philippines, di ba, kanang we got colonized by Spain, American, Japan. So our culture kay murag na mix na sad na natay mga storyaan nga kon Hapones, Spanish, or American, man na hybrid atong culture. And this outcome is common, desirable, occurs throughout history, and will occur more in era of globalization. Okay? Lagi, through media, magka-share na og cultures, balo na sa ubang cultures sa lain nasod. And then, as globalization has increased, the frequency of contact among cultures, no, the world has been given another awkward term, glocalization. Ano siya? Glocalization. Okay. So, sige na to, og dawat og lain-lain cultures from other around the world. Like, mura na to, gitawag na siya og glocalization. According to Jude, nga ang glocalization is a combination of localization and globalization. Ano silang gi-combine. And then, the media and globalization are facts of life in local cultures. Ang local cultures, kay, it is not static and fixed. It is created and produced daily. Kada adlaw gyud. It is not pliable and awaiting or fearing contact from the outside. Ang media, mao gyud na siya ang reason sa globalization. Manang nahimo sa media sa cultural globalization which we share our culture. For further discussion, I will pass the screen to Kila Duaban to discuss about the popular music and globalization.
Popular music and globalization. Popular music serves here as a getaway to explore the representation and meanings associated with music making in the time of globalization. Qualifying music as popular is a value judgment, indicating the important place music occupies in everyday life. So, globalization has a profound impact on popular music in various ways. First is the cultural fusion. Globalization brings cultures closer together, resulting in the fusion of different music styles and traditions. Artists often draw inspirations from diverse cultural influences, creating music that blends elements from various regions and genres. For example, genres like world music, reggaeton, and K-pop are popular manifestations of these cultural fusions. Second is cross-border collaborations. Advances in technology and communication facilitate collaboration between artists from different parts of the world. Musicians can easily collaborate remotely, exchange ideas, and produce music together, leading to the creation of cross-genre and cross-cultural work. Third is widespread distribution. The digital age and the internet have made it easier for music to reach global audiences. Streaming platforms and social media allows artists to share their music with listeners worldwide instantly. This increased accessibility enables artists from diverse backgrounds to gain international recognition and influence. Fourth, homogenization versus diversity. While globalization promotes cultural exchange, it can also lead to homogenization of music. As popular music becomes more globalized, there's a risk of cultural diversity being overshadowed by dominant Western styles. However, there is also a counter-movement towards preserving and promoting indigenous and regional music traditions. Fifth, language and identity. Globalization challenges linguistic boundaries in music. English has become the dominant language in many popular songs as it facilitates international appeal. However, artists also use their native language to express cultural identity and connect with local audiences, leading to a diverse linguistic landscape in popular music. And last, touring and festivals. Globalization has transformed the music industry, touring and festival circuit. Artists can tour internationally more easily, reaching fans in different countries and continents. Similarly, music festivals have become global phenomena, attracting diverse audiences and showcasing a wide range of musical genres from around the world. Next to my report is popular music and musicians in society. So from the local to the global, when the terms globalization and music are put together, they tend to conjure up critical reflections regarding the notions of culture, place, and identity. Music participate at once in the reinforcing of boundaries of culture and identity. So as what I have said earlier, that there is globalization and making of popular music is very being affected because it affects the traditional songs and the regional and the indigenous song because the popular music is being so dominant nowadays. So popular music makes a compelling case for elucidating the complex dynamics of globalization, not only because it is popular, but because music is highly mediated, is deeply invested in meaning, and has proven to be extremely mobile and resourceful. So this means that globalization is very easy. It helps the music to become more accessible because due to the media, due to the streaming platforms now, it's easy music and so music is everywhere. So sociologists have been ahead of the game in this. Example, Paul and Jefferson, some of it and others, emphasize the links between popular music and social change. Means that, for me, it means music genres are associated with youth subcultures such as hip-hop, punks, emotions, emo, ravers, juggalos, metalheads, and goths. The study of subcultures often consists of the study of the symbolism attached to the clothing, whether or clothing, music, and other visible affections by members of the subculture, and also the ways in which these symbols are interpreted by the members of the dominant culture. Next is Turner, the music of youths, in particular, because youth is conceived as a luminoid dub. So, what luminoid dub means it refers to the experience or activities that are similar to those of a ritual or a rite of passage, but they are not as formal or structured. Basically, it's like when you feel a sense of transformation or spiritual significance during something like a festival or a concert, and even though it's not a traditional ritual. So, a luminoid experience is kind of a ritual, like still meaningful, but not as official. So these studies lead the way for the socio-cultural analysis of other genres of music like reggae, heavy metal, rock and roll, and hip-hop. So other sociologists opted to focus on the concrete step-by-step work of making art and music happen. For example, Howard Becker demonstrated in Arts World how any form of cultural production, including music, results from the interaction of a large network of actors. So there are a number of roles for those actively involved in the creation of new works of fine art, but the example remains the lone artist or a close collaboration. Historically, art was produced by the members of a workshop, often a master and a number of journeymen and apprentices. Contemporary artists allude to this group practice in the establishment of studio workshop or factories, or by having works fabricated by industrial methods according to requirements and specification. Some works of being a monumental scale cannot be executed in any other way. In most of these group practices, the authenticity associated with fine art is maintained by the artist either doing the essential work, closely supervising others, and giving final approval to the finished piece by signing it. Keith Negus unravels the mechanisms and strategies multinational record companies employ to produce popular music and develop and promote successful artists. What I have understand about this is there are many ways, or there are 101 ways to promote to promote new artists, to produce popular music, because music is everywhere, as you have said, so it's very easy, but it takes time and it's work. And I will pass the screen to.
The screen will be passed to Bruce Olmedo for further discussion.
Now, the capital, the technologies and ethics of world music. According to Bob White, 2012, an anthropologist, he defines that world music today as the umbrella category under which various types of traditional and non-Western music are produced for Western consumption. Well, not really, because music is for everybody, which is common already. And according to Stephen Feld, 2012, ethnomusicologist, he goes further considering it a label of industrial origin that refers to an amalgamated global marketplace of sounds as ethnic commodities. Well, in addition, by considering the territorialization, deterial, the territorialization and demonization of identity as an end to itself, the proponents of cosmopolitanism to turn globalization into a place of belonging instead of address globalization as a condition that produce possibly a variety of new forms of belonging. There is a world of difference. As a result, two paradoxical realities characterize the work of globalization today and distinguish it from its mass incarnations: the unprecedented circulation and consumption of cultural commodities such as music, and the resurgence and reinforcement of national boundaries through militarized technologies of security and neo-nativist policies of citizenship and migration control. We are now on the second topic of this report about globalization of religion. Globalization of religion. Well, there are many definitions of religion. Well, in my perspective, I think religion is a form of belief, and it is not that easy to pin down exactly what religion is, and then to ensure that the definition distinguishes religion from magic and from cults and sects. Many people offer definitions without much detail or knowledge of the wide range of religious phenomena and the many different cultural manifestations of religion. It is a rather common misconception to think that religion has to do with God or gods or supernatural beings or a supernatural or spiritual dimension or greater reality. None of that is absolutely necessary, but because there are religions that are without those elements. And the three religions that are proselytizing religions seeking more members actively are first is Christianity, next is Islam, then Buddhism. Christianity from that's the normal stuff we encounter today, Islam from Muslims, and Buddhism from Japan or Buddhists. Islam is the fastest growing of the tradition of the three traditions, and will most likely be adherents in the world by 2020. And according to Frederick Ferrer, religion is the most comprehensive and intensive manner of valuing known to human beings. We shall put this definition of or understanding aside until the final chapter. And after we have examined a number of important issues related to religion, for now, it would be less abstract and more useful if the initial data of religion would be phrased in terms of characteristics which most people have any experiences with religion can most likely identify. There are common characteristics of or family traits of those members of the category or family of religion. First is notion of deity or absolute, that which is of ultimate concern and importance, which by means of having a deity or God to believe in. Second is ideas on the nature of human beings. The idea of third one is the idea of divine providence, destiny, or fate, which means that either example is like my destiny would be become an aspiring engineer or something like that. Number four is the idea of and meaning of human history. It means giving humans the idea of having their own meaning. Number five is problem if evil explained. means that if there's good in this world, then there's most likely definitely be evil. Number 6 is description of the central problem of human life and suffering idea of an afterlife after death. It means that after we live from this realm, we will be suffering or celebrating on the afterlife, which is a concept of Christianity, of heaven and hell. Next is a concept of the world, ideas if humans, community, and ethics, a moral code. That's also very similar to heaven and hell, that if you do good now, you'll end up be rewarded later, and if you do bad things now, you'll be punished after. And last one is common traits with common characteristics, which is family traits.
To continue the report, the screen will be passed to Andre Trinidad to discuss about religions of the West.
Religion of the West, the one God. Religion of the West, what Judaism, Christianity, and Islam share in some common traits of characteristics that distinguish them from other religions in this world. Believe on one God. Believe in linear history. Believe in sacred scripture, the book. These common features bind the three traditions of the West together. They share many similar ideas. Among those shared are one God made the universe, and along with in the beginning of the time, and the one God will end the universe. Each human has soul, and that death of the body, the soul shall separate from the body and go on into another dimension. Those sad things have greatly affected the lives of people at each particular moment of their history. Religion and present has taken a radical twist. In many countries in the world today, there is always the challenge of secularization of religion. Grace Davy said, secularization in the present world could be blatantly construed in the ambience of believing without belonging, meaning it simultaneous public flagging on religious belief that's not matched by religious practice. Nietzsche, strong assertion that God is dead, which come as a result of history and Christianity as a weak and slave morality, and his suggestions that man must transform himself into a superman where he can make the best out of himself. This philosophy has seemed to drive away people from realm of religion and their reliance on being greater than themselves, and instead give premium to humans' capacities. Another factor is Jean-Paul Sartre's philosophy of existentialism that gives premium to human freedom. Man is cursed to make choices in life since existence precedes existence. This philosophy again makes man realize of his potential to actualize himself fully in the midst of materialistic world all by himself. Charles Sanders Peirce's philosophy of pragmatism. The main premise of this philosophy is to view actions and things to be value only if it works and brings satisfaction. This philosophy sees goodness in people and things only if they are of value to a person. I'll pass the screen to Daki.
And back, the case of the Philippines. Religion as end product of globalization. Filipinos are predominantly Christians because the religion had been infused into their consciousness and the way of life, which had been successfully passed on from one generation to the other. The spread of Christianity in the Philippines can be mostly attributed to Ferdinand Magellan's discovery of the Philippines. Magellan happened to discover the Philippines because of its mission to find new route to Spice Islands. So, these are the missions of Magellan's expedition. In his expedition, first is to propagate the Christian faith. So, propagate the Christian faith means to spread the teachings and belief of Christianity to other people. It involves sharing the message of Jesus Christ, his teaching, and the principles of Christianity with others, and the hope that they will also come to believe and follow the faith. This can be done through various means such as preaching, teaching, distributing religious materials, and engaging in missionary work. Essentially, it's about helping others understand and embrace Christianity. So the next mission is to found newfound territories, which later on became an efficient instrument for colonization. So, as colonization, the Spain keeps countries in the old days, like they keep on colonizing the other islands like the Philippines to seek resources, and the more island that you have been colonized is what makes you a stronger country. So the third missions of his expedition is to find gold and other goods in the colonies with the intention to enrich the crown, reflects today's transnational and multinational corporation, gross exploitations of developing nations, national and human resources. So their third mission and purpose is to find natural resources. So next is challenges to the religions. Fascism was very against Christianity, especially the Roman Catholic, in the sense that religion served a secret competitor in fascism in relation to capturing people's heart and support. So, what is fascism? Fascism was often against Christianity because it saw it as a rival to its power. So, fascist leaders wanted total control over people's loyalty and beliefs, while Christianity, with its emphasis on compassion and moral conscience, clashed with fascist ideas of authoritarianism and nationalism. Fascist regimes sometimes targeted Christianity because it promoted independent thinking and could challenge their authority. Also, if Christianity was associated with minority groups, fascists might persecute it due to their racist or national beliefs. Texas communism is nationalistic in the sense that it espouses each working man's loyalty to the state, which is governed through the dictatorship of a proletariat or the working class. So, mm, does the communism affect the religion? Sure, because communism can impact religion in a few ways. First, it's in some communist countries, the government might limit or control religious practices. They might see religion as a challenge to their authority or as something that divides people. So they might restrict religious activities or promote atheism. Secondly, communism often emphasizes the importance of the state over any religious beliefs. In communist ideology, the focus is on equality and collective ownership, not on individual faith. Individual faith. This can lead to tensions between religious groups and the government. Lastly, some religions might oppose communism because they see it against their teachings. For example, communism typically promotes the idea of sharing wealth equally, but some religions might emphasize individual charity rather than state-controlled distribution. So in simple terms, communism can affect religion by limiting its practice, promoting atheism, prioritizing the state over religious belief, and conflict with some religious teachings. So aside from Catholicism, other religions such as Protestantism have strong connections to the development of capitalism. So Max Weber, famous apologist, in one way or another asserted that capitalism finds its roots from distant cities. So many historians and scholars have noted the connections between Protestantism, particularly Calvinism, and the development of capitalism. Max Weber, a prominent sociologist, explored this connection in his famous work, The Protestant Ethic and the Spirit of Capitalism, published in 1905. So Weber argued that certain Protestant beliefs, particularly those of Calvinism, contributed to the rise of capitalism in Western Europe. Calvinism emphasized thrift, hard work, and the idea of calling or vocation. The Calvinist doctrine of predestination, which held that God had already determined who would be saved, led adherents to seek signs of their salvation in their worldly success. This encouraged a strong work ethic and accumulation of wealth. Furthermore, 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 Protestantism, with its emphasis on individual interpretation of scripture and rejection of traditional authority, created a cultural environment conducive to economic innovation and entrepreneurship. Protestant communities often valued education, which is also contributed to economic development. While Weber's thesis had been debated and challenged over the years, many scholars still acknowledge the significant influence of Protestantism on the development of capitalism in the West. And I will pass the screen to
The screen will be passed to Jude Noyo for the continuation of the report about localization of religion.
What is globalization? Globalization is a combination, globalization and localization. Easily travel from one place to another or from one country to another country is because ability of transportation. Ang makatravel kay dahil sa transportation to one place to another place. In 1995, globalization that has happened to make the new system of connections. This creates a process of reconstructing, creating, or recreating locality is on the sense that the construction of locality can be construed as also a product of globalization. The globalization of religion manifests the reduction of one religion to another culture or a foreign land with completely different ways of life. So, ang globalization of religion dahil kay dili ra kay sa one place to another place is kuan ra kanang ang ilaharap ang apil ko ang religion. This is what referred as a cultural hybrids. Religion still has to face challenges of what are we put in front of them. After all, religions have to adapt the existing localities in order for them to be relevant if the ever-changing contemporary world. As globalization has increased the frequency of contact and cultures, the world been given another awkward term, localization. So, marututog guys. I will pass this report to Jemima Duwali.
Transnational religion and multiple localization. What is transnational? Transnational meaning extending or operating across national boundaries. International. So, through migration after wars and revolution, people from Southeast Asia are able to live and adapt the culture of the countries that they have migrated to in terms of working environment, education, and social relations. It is quite fascinating that while people have become accustomed to the cultures of the countries that they have migrated to, a large number of them have purposely retained their own culture, including religion. Just like for example, mga OFWs, no? Sa Dubai, Filipinos are mostly kanang Catholics, di ba? Bawa na silang, some of OFWs retain their religion. OFW in the Middle East in which non-Islam are prohibited and outlawed. So there are stories that Filipino migrant workers find time to gather in a secret and secluded place to worship God in line with their Christian faith, even at the risk of being punished, deported, or even jailed for a certain amount of time. And then this paved the way for the development of the connection between migrant people and religion in a transnational context. Now, according to Casanova, Martin, and Roy, associated with the way people across the Maryland's borders, the migration of religion across the world has been characterizing feature of the 20th century world. Ano silang after the Second World War, to Vietnam War, the Revolution of Cambodia, daghan kayo nga ni-migrate sa laing lugar no from their home countries. Ano silang some of them adapt na sila sa mga kanang religion or the cultures from that country bitaw ay ilahang gipuy-an. These people have continued to maintain ties with their home countries, thereby maintaining their links to their roots and thus their links also to their families and friends. In this era, makita na to ang kanang lain-laing klaseng relihiyon in each country. It's because of the localization, multiple globalization and transnational religion, in which people tend to have different religion. The realm of religion has not been able to escape the present world's dynamic essence that it also cuts across boundaries, just as people practicing particular faiths move from one state boundary to another. That's all about the globalization of religion. Now, we prepared a test. There are two parts of a test, like part one and part two. The part one is a test for first topic, and part two is the test for the second topic. We will provide you a link for you to answer it. So have a nice day, and thank you, everyone.